He's a really nice guy. Some people think I'm a nice guy, some people may not. But it doesn't matter whether you have two great guys, they're going to disagree, and things will not get done because they're disagreeing. If you have one, with one board, looking at the entire town, more will get done. And I think Bob and I have proven that point since I've been in office, where we have disagreed on certain points, because we're worried about our small patch of ground rather than the overall town and what's better for the entire town. I also believe that people outside our community, for several different pieces, look down on us because there's constant fighting between town and village on certain issues. And I'll always bring up the acreage on 9W, where we spent, to my knowledge, a couple $100,000 in lawyers to acquire a piece of land we do not control, because it was a fight between the town and the village. Where if we just said, let's get the land, let's develop it, and let's do what's best for this town, that land may already be part of our community, be developed, and be contributing to our tax base. But everyone's concerned about being in control. Everyone's concerned about, I want the power. We don't want the power. We want to see one government, and we want to see one town government. I don't want to vote on this. I know he's in the back. Did the village planning board want to say anything? I thought so. You got to step up.
My biggest concern is about potential money that the village residents are going to pay on the A fund as opposed to what they pay now. Just dirty figures. The town right now, they're budgeted for $17,000. The village is budgeted for $12,000. If we were to combine them and just cut half of the village based on the salaries and some of the other things that go towards that budget, you're looking at $23,000 for a combined board. Right now, the village pays the A fund 2/3, 66%. That would mean the village residents would pay $15,000 when they're paying $12,000 now. The town residents paying $17,000 would only pay $7,800. In my opinion, that is not fair to the village residents.
But remember, on the A fund, villagers are paying 2/3 of that now.
We do not pay for their planning board.
So it's on the B fund.
Planning's on the B fund.
It's on the B line.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's not on the B.
That's correct. So it seems like they get a $10,000 almost break, and ours goes up $3,000 as village residents. I just don't think it's fair.
Well, it's not always on every equation gonna come out in that way on the consolidation. though.
I understand that, and we keep talking about consolidation. You talk about police, DPW, the planning department, the rec department. I hear nothing ever about combining our fire departments, ever, and I don't know why.
If you want to open up
I'm just asking the
that kind of
question.
can of worms,
So when we do combine and become one town, the fire departments must combine
I-
and become districts.
again, with that, as we are going to, when we go down the road with the planning board, we want the planning board to be 100% a part of what happens. When we go down the road with, we're consolidating, what's going to happen to the fire departments, I preferably would like the fire departments to be the ones to draw. It's already been discussed in both houses, I believe, because there's been talk of consolidation. And I don't think there's been any decisions, but there's been a lot of talking of what are we going to do, what is the best thing, what should we do, districts, whatever. So I believe that we have people in both houses that have knowledge. We'll be looking for more information on it. And again, I would like the fire departments to come to the town and village with, we feel this is the best way. And then if we need to tweak it from there, then we do. But I personally, exactly how I feel about the planning board is, you guys are on the planning board, you have to do the job. I want it to be the planning board you want it to be. Same thing with the fire departments. I don't want to be the one to say, this is how the fire department's going to be, because it's the best way it is, and that's that. First of all, I'm not a fire department. I'm not a fireman, okay? I'm not in their meetings. I don't deal with their internal budgets. I don't deal with their training, their whole nines. That, to me, they're definitely a part of the equation. They're not going to be left out here, but they are separate entities. And they will be included once you talk. Again, that's not a huge thing on me as far as, to me, the DPW and the police are our biggest hurdle as the village. And that's what we're working on first.
And again, I just would
No.
let the village residents know that when we combine, the village residents will pay 2/3 because of the population in the village.
Understand that, and here's the reason why that it's okay. Because that's where the 1.3 million comes in. Many people from Fort Montgomery are more concerned about the consolidation as far as their taxes are concerned, what they're gonna pay. That's why the 1.3 million is there. And that money, that number comes down from the state. Okay, at this time, what's being calculated, and it will change because we won't be consolidated until whenever it happens. But at this time, with the numbers that are coming through our town and village, the state will kick in $1.3 million as the program that they're offering for us to offset taxes. So that $3,000 will come out of that 1.3 million. What will come out of that 1.3 million more is when we consolidate our police department, depending on how that's done and what services are used. Because that is where Fort Montgomery residents may end up paying more. And same with DPW. And because of that, that's why they're giving us the 1.3. They're giving us the 1.3 million so that it'll offset if Fort Montgomery's paying $600,000 more in taxes for full consolidation. That money is going there to offset it.
What does the town police department budget right now? Around
No idea. I am so consumed with the
DPW?
village.
Nothing?
Town, no, I don't. What I can tell you as far as town and village DPWs, we have not gotten the police, because we're just forming that committee now. I had several conversations with Al Fusco. He's putting together grants for the consolidation. And again, why we're talking about steps is because if we just dissolve the town, or village rather, if we dissolve the village, there's a lot less benefit. And on top of that, this board is way more concerned about everybody working for the village right now, maintaining their job, as well as the finances. So when we combine individual departments rather than consolidate all together, there are more benefits. But we have to keep the train running so that we don't wait 6-7 years after we begin consolidation. We're not waiting 6 or 7 years to finish it, because the sooner we finish, the sooner we get the 1.3 million. But the grants that he's working on now, I'll give you an example. If we combine DPWs, grants he's working on now can give us a brand new garage, massive, up at the town area to house all our trucks, and paid for by the state grant.
The town garage on the village property.
Town garage on village property, yes, sir. Now, speaking of town garage on village property, there is a possibility there's someone that has 2 acres that butt up against the town garage. That grant can also pay for that acreage so that there is enough land for the town garage to have everything they need, no more planning. We don't have to worry about expanding it, we have all the land we need for DPW forever. On 9W, access to 9W, and access directly into the village, which to me is a good thing. Because to have that access, the one thing I will say lastly, and we're in the middle of a different boat here anyway, got way off track, so I won't say it, is that these are a lot of reasons, there are many reasons for the consolidation, and I understand your concern, but that's why the 1.3 million that Charlie had checked out with the state is so important, is because that will offset the different departments that will be paying more. We will, and I'm not gonna go through the numbers, we may be paying more if we consolidate. I'm not gonna argue that fact. But then, as Bob said, there's other departments that will be paying more in Fort Montgomery.
I just need to see that on paper because,
No
well,
problem.
only because the greater population is in the village.
Correct.
And based on the percentage now, I don't see how they would pay more than what the village residents pay.
For
That's all I'm
police?
saying. On anything,
Okay.
you know,
Well,
and.
And you
I'm
will
just
see all those
confused on
numbers before
that.
anything happens, bottom line.
Yeah.
It's not an overnight vote, and it's not happening in an executive session.
It's not public
This is
knowledge.
gonna be, it will be 100% public knowledge, and it'll be, we'll have it on paper, there'll be presentations. This is the reason why I ran, consolidation. I believe it's what's gonna be able to help us stay in this village, not have to move south, and help us with our taxes, and help us streamline government. That's our goal. If there are naysayers, you need to come forward, and you need to, I mean, you're saying this, so now we have to show you the numbers. Then, no, it's not good enough, it's not gonna do this. Now we have to show that these questions have to be answered. You have to be a proponent for consolidation of the planning board and everything else. And if I don't get you to that point, then I'm not doing my job.
I agreed with the town chair of the planning board about the codes for sure. So, you know, my only question was about the money and how much more it costs to build a bridge.
Bang,
Public comments in a little bit.
she's killing me. All right. Is Mr. I don't wanna vote without him. We can vote on the other one though. Accept the bills and claims for the year 14-15 in the amount of 127, I'm gonna go back to the other one, so Mr. Rango's here. In the amount of $127,225.73. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So move. You know what, it's the you didn't have any comments. I need a motion to approve the concept of consolidating the planning board. Oh, we already had that. You have that. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't have where you, who had the motion to approve the concept?
With no date certain.
I did.
Bob approved it. Charlie seconded it. Here's Mr. Brown. You. I have a motion and a second to approve the concept of consolidating the planning boards. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. I need a motion to have the town pay the historian the full amount of salary, and the village will continue to pay the provide the services for the historian here in the village hall. And I'm sure Jean's gonna write that up much better than I said it. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second? Then you could, I see something brewing over there. I have a second from Mr. Brown. Charlie?
Well, I guess it's however it's
Written.
written, that we're approving this concept. The town's going to have to pass a similar.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, no, this can't be done without the town also approving the same thing.
Well, in concept, I'm all for it.
Okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Okay. Public comment? No? Excellent. I need a motion, Jimmy. Got it in there.
All right, so public comment. The park to the town, right? We're giving the park commission to the town, right?
Yes,
Perfect. Right now, the village entity runs the 4th of July,
correct.
right? The town took out of their budget the money to give for the 4th of July
Took out of the budget or,
many years ago.
right,
There used to be money in the
Yes.
town budget, they took it out. So now, when the village entity runs the 4th of July, will we have, is there gonna be a concern about us being allowed to use Road Park?
no, real quick. First of all, the village doesn't run the 4th of July. And also, the town did give money this past year for the fireworks. There was concern about giving money directly to the committee in the past, so they have been writing checks directly to the firework company. In many other towns, and this is where I'm trying to go with the 4th of July, and a lot of the seniors, I'd like to see the 4th of July under recreation. It is that way in many other towns. I'd like to see the senior program under recreation. It is that way in many of the towns. This way you have a paid person looking over the program. It is so much better than having a volunteer that doesn't have the time today because they needed to go to the supermarket. So something didn't get done. Now, as far as who,
It was just a question, I just wanted to make sure we weren't gonna have an issue when we have.
there's no issues because it's a separate committee.
Perfect.
And well, just to give you a quick, and I don't want to lengthen it out, just so people understand, the Independence Day Committee is a town-wide committee, not a village committee. People may think it is because many of the events happen in the village. It is a town-wide event. We used to have the canoe races in Fort Montgomery. They tried it once in Highland Falls, a lot more people showed up. So they kept doing it. We tried to do 1 or 2 more events down in Fort Montgomery, didn't get the turnout, so they moved them back to Highland Falls. It's just the way it is. But that's the other concept, and I'm just gonna keep doing it, even though it had nothing to do with what you asked. The concept is, we're one town, no matter where we do it, and that's what we have to get to. Next question, sir.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure we were good on it. Bob Meadow study. What was in that study? Did we do anything in that yet, or what's proposed to be in that study?
The main portion of the study was of the raising of Bog Meadow. As far as, you're talking about improvements? Improvements of Bog Meadow? We actually are working on right now, there is a report that we are addressing where there are some minor issues with the lower Bog Meadow. And we are addressing those now.
But we want to raise the upper, correct?
Eventually. That's a, at this point, it's a possibility. It's not a definite, because we don't know where there may be a different water source that we may want to hit. For example, right across the street from the water plant is the,
Blue Dam.
right, that hasn't been dredged in a very long time. Dredging that may be less expensive, and we'll get a huge amount of water from that than doing Bog Meadow. It all depends on the need. Right now, after talking to the water department head and looking at the study and the whole nine, not a priority.
I was just wondering if in that study, they actually did some kind of a test on the access road that goes around the upper box? And if they worked, no?
I
And if
don't
they
know, I'm not sure.
Right, so if we were to raise the upper bog, I believe that should be
Yes.
done, because I don't like what they use for fill when they raise that road. And I don't think it's
If they,
in the best interest to cover that with water.
if they.
Correct.
If they were to raise the dam, they would simultaneously have to raise the road.
No, they already raised that road the last time they raised the dam.
It
And
would
they-
have to happen, they're gonna both have to happen, if it's gonna happen in.
When we raised the dam 25, 30 years ago, the access road that goes around Bog was raised. And right now, where the dam is, when it is full and overflowing, it comes up to the edge of that road. And I would only ask that we please see what's in that fill that they put in. And we may have to remove it when they raise the dam, that's
It's
all I'm
just
saying.
unstable, is that what you're thinking?
I can talk to you
No,
about
no,
what I.
as far as the road.
Is it unstable? No, I don't believe what's in there is what we want in our drinking water.
Right.
Where'd the fill come from, you know?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I have a good idea.
All right, then we'll talk about that.
Alright, so please check into that. Past meeting, you guys discussed, taking on more sewage from West Point. I was wondering where we stand on that. Anywhere? Nothing?
There's been no, there's been 1 or 2 meetings, no movement.
That's it. See, it was pretty simple.
Gee, you scared me there for a minute.
Thank you.
Yes,
And just an environmental announcement. If people, instead of buying cleaning products, use white vinegar and lemon juice in a 50-50 mix, you can buy the least expensive white vinegar. It's safe for pets, people, humans, sewage, everything. It does excellent job of cleaning. If you add baking soda to do your oven, you might be amazed. These are simple things. Also in the town, when you have water, do you have chlorinated water? A really important thing for everyone's health is to buy a chlorine filter, because chlorine kills a lot of bacteria, but the worst way of taking it in yourself is through a hot shower and breathing that. So they have filters that screw on that will eliminate that, and I recommend that for people that are using chlorinated water. I'm off a well myself, so it's different, but just a little environmental tips, okay?
Thank you.
no one else? You sure? All right, at this time, I would ask for a motion to move an executive session. Oh, no, more comments.
Oh, no comment.
Ms. Brown? Bob? All right, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to move an executive session to discuss personnel matters and other important matters. Do I have a motion? Mr. Brown, do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight.
Thank you.